Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Live. So, today we are going to be talking about purpose and this big question of finding your purpose. And as the title of the video says, doubt kills your purpose faster than failure. And we already have a couple of comments in the chat saying clickbait title makes no sense. And then we have it makes perfect sense. Failing means you tried, doubting keeps you from trying at all. Beautiful. You get it. So let's talk a little bit about purpose and this big, huge topic of finding your purpose, which is really what everybody's looking for in life. Everybody is looking for in the spiritual space. People are looking for in the science spaces, in art, in teaching, in expression, in every area of life. This is not something that is unique to the spiritual world, even though we use this a lot in the spiritual world. You said your nose is very shiny tonight. Okay, hold on. Let's tone down the highlighter that I got too heavy there. Okay, thanks. Thanks for helping me out because you know what? There would have been a lot of comments about it. Thank you for that. So, okay, so finding your purpose. Let's start first and foremost with that statement, which I love that statement because it warms my heart. Like, oh, find your purpose. But really, let's get real. So, finding, you said, no, it looks good. Too late. Too late. I took it off. So, you cannot find your purpose. One, because we're implying it's lost. There is no lost purpose. There is nothing for you to dig and discover. And this is a lot of times why people get caught in this cycle of not exactly knowing what their purpose is. Because, I mean, one of the most basic concepts in manifestation, spirituality, creating your reality, mindset work, personal development work is all around like the language that you use. And this is why, they say not to use words like try. Because if you say I'm trying, then you're basically creating the constant environment of trying versus succeeding, doing, it already being. And so, same thing, this kind of corny, overused statement of if you use the word want, you imply lack. And we've heard this overused a million times on coaches selling courses and videos. And it's like, we've heard this a million times. But it does work, it is a real statement. It's just very overused. So with the tone of find your purpose, it's implying that it's lost. And that's impossible. Your purpose is already there. It's already yours. There's nothing to find. So that's first and foremost is that there's nothing to find because it's not lost. As we know that most of the things that we experience in this lifetime is actually remembering. And so either that's remembering who we are, remembering the self, remembering what we were before we were hurt, remembering our soul's purpose, remembering, some people go far as remembering who they were before this lifetime, remembering who they are outside of this self, out of this identity, out of this body. There's many different forms of remembering. And then if you really go zoom out big picture, what it means to remember in this life is the opposite of dismember, which is from the one. We all started as one consciousness. We are all one consciousness. And then we dismember into fractals. And remember means to reintegrate back into the one. So this remembering, and this is why many people, when they meditate, they get the message, remember, remember. And it's one of the frustrating things that come up when you're on the early stages of your spiritual journey, because it's like, remember. And you're like, am I remembering my purpose? Am I remembering my past lives? Am I remembering my soul contract? Am I remembering my karma? What am I supposed to be remembering? And the thing is, it's all the things. It's many layers of these things. The same thing with the lessons that we learn in this lifetime. We're remembering things that we already know and we're experiencing through separation. Dynamite delivery. Thanks. Okay, so let's start first with purpose. It is a lot more simple than everybody makes it out to be. And a lot of times this phrase purpose um gets really convoluted with career. and job title and leaving a legacy, leaving a monolith. What are the work you're leaving behind? All of these different things. Like when we are talking about purpose, many times people think it's like, well, what's the business I create? What's the art I leave with the world? How do I save humanity? And it's so much more simple than that. So, as you guys know, I do the QHHT hypnosis, which is Dolores Cannon's style of hypnosis. And the number one important question that every single person has to ask, and I will not do a session without asking this, whether it's on the person's list or not, because that's what Dolores Cannon said was the most important question is, what is their purpose in this lifetime? So when you have someone in a hypnotic state and their higher self speaking through them, then you ask, what is your purpose in this lifetime? And oh, hey. And so you never heard don't say want. Yeah. I mean, it's not that you don't say it. It's that if you say you want, you create the energy that you don't have it, which is why, we have to kind of use certain language, but also at the same time, express yourself fully. Express yourself. You're like, I want a freaking cheesecake right now. I don't have a cheesecake right now. So it's like live in your true self. Okay. Live with who you truly are. Speak how you truly want to speak. But we want to be mindful of these things that are important, like purpose. And, like another example of using words is like losing weight. One of the things they say very when you're on a weight loss journey is to be mindful to say lose weight and to kind of try to rewire yourself to say release weight. Because if you lose it, then you're constantly telling your mind that you're going to have to find it again. So, these are getting into some technical things, but in the hypnosis work, we always ask, what is this person's purpose? And I will tell you, these are all different people who've a lot of times never had a QHHT session before, who have maybe read Dolores Cannon's books, but in her books, it doesn't give the full session. It gives excerpts of the sessions about the cool, interesting stuff. So very few people would have that's a cool screen name, Atlantis Morissette. um, so a lot of people would not have heard the part of a hypnosis session that says, what is your purpose? However, about 99% answer the exact same way. They don't say like, "Oh, their purpose is to, go to Mars, is to save humanity, is to create this technology, create this software, have this business." It is never that. It always is the same type of answer, and that's how I know that all of these different people who've never met each other and probably have never seen a QHHT beginning to end to have heard this question asked, because this question is not really in Dolores Cannon's books because she puts the interesting stuff in there. And the thing is that the purpose is always so simple. It is always to this, to that, to experience, to help, to uh learn. And it's like it's always that simple, and that has many different manifestations. So let me I have some notes of and I actually don't have anybody's name on these notes. So I just have, like, in my notes as I type, up the hypnosis client's notes at the end of the session, I have a lot of people's notes, and I don't have them titled, and they're just like, what I use to send them information. So I wanna read you a couple. So, this person who, like I said, I don't know who this was, um, "Your purpose in this lifetime is to be an example to many and to set an example by showing them how to get through difficulties, but still remaining loving and not bitter." Another person, "Your person in this lifetime is love and simplicity. Remember that this lifetime is just temporary." So, it's really simple. Like, purpose in this lifetime to experience love, suffering, and use that to understand others. Your purpose in this lifetime, you already know it, but it is to help people. You have a special ability to get people to open up. You do this without knowing. Let's see if I can find some other ones. Let's see. Your purpose in this lifetime is to be a bright light that will attract the right people who also experience loneliness, and you will help them find adopted family. Your purpose in this lifetime is a dual purpose. It is to find strength within yourself and then use that strength to lead by example. Your purpose in this lifetime is to create and then respond to creation. Your purpose in this lifetime is to learn about everything and take it all in and never stop loving. These are so easy. The purpose in this lifetime is to heal through writing and to help others heal. Your purpose in this lifetime is to witness the contrast between different perspectives. So this person's purpose gave them an image, and it was a circuit, and it was a connector of wires, and it was ushering traffic from different channels. So it was showing them that they are like a circuit of many different channels. Your purpose in this lifetime is to love and be loved. Your purpose in this lifetime is to help others learn the same lessons that you have learned. Your purpose in this lifetime is to love, to be love, to express love, and to share love. Your purpose in this lifetime is to be a light. Your presence raises others, and you are a hope bringer. Your purpose, you are here to lead. Your greatest gift is your vision, and through that is how you will fulfill your purpose. Your purpose in this lifetime is to come here and help others understand pain, especially people who have had a harder time feeling love and connecting to source. Purpose in this lifetime is to be a leader and use your voice. Okay, I'm scrolling kind of far back here. So this is what's really interesting is that these are extremely general types of things. However, it is specific to the person and it does mean a lot to the person. When I went under QHHT in 2021 and I was asked, what is my purpose in this lifetime? My purpose in this lifetime was to help other people find their purpose. So Zach, I just had a QHHT session done. My purpose was to love myself fully and help others heal. Beautiful, beautiful. Like, this is what I'm saying is what we're doing with this concept of find your purpose and all of these different like spiritual courses around this and teachers and lecturers and things. This is coming from people's higher self. This is, I don't know, what did I read you? A dozen people's higher self, word for word, what their higher self said was their purpose in this lifetime. And it is that simple. It really is. You guys have to let yourself off of the hook. And the reason that I said doubt kills your purpose faster than failure is this doubt in general, like self-doubt. And I'm going to get a little bit into some of the other purpose stuff. There's many different avenues of finding what your purpose is, right? So what came up in my QHHT was that my purpose was to help other people find their purpose. And that happens in many different ways. Sure, it happens with something like coming on here on YouTube, on TikTok, doing a live stream. It happens sometimes through QHHT, but it happens just through like talking to people. It happens through being yourself. It happens through a normal interaction. Like the thing is like, but there is other methods. So something, that I've been, as you guys know, I've promised you that I will do a human design series on YouTube and on the lives. And I'm digging into some of that. So that's coming up. But as I'm looking at the human design stuff, I also kind of looking into the gene keys, and a lot of that has come up recently. So I'm going to read to you what my purpose says in gene keys. So this is for my gene keys. Your work in this world is to open the minds of others through your ability to show others another way of looking at things. You are also particularly equipped to handle challenging relationships and to assist others in doing so. This is, therefore, likely to be a feature of your life. You can also have a sharp and incisive gift for locking in precisely on the truth underlying of any given situation, as well as being able to communicate this clearly to others. Because you have a constantly inquiring mind, you need to realize that all the answers you've been gathering for so long were never intended for you. They are simply building up a great reservoir for the sake of helping others resolve their questions. Your mind is, therefore, not a means of deciding anything for yourself, but it's a tool to help others clarify their decisions, which is interesting, right? So this is, a bit wordy. However, it is in a way kind of saying something similar to your purpose is to help other people find their purpose, right? So it's to help other people understand themselves. And so one thing that's really interesting there is that it's like all of these things, these questions, these answers, these deep dives, these things, my experiences, that part of that is happening so that I can help others because I can maybe put it to words or I can give a perspective to it. And so this has been in my sphere the last week, because my husband and I have been looking at human design and looking at gene keys and talking about some of this stuff. And we did a Joe Dispenza meditation a couple days ago, and it was a tuning into your heart meditation. And, in Joe Dispenza's work, he does a lot of stuff around going to the nothing, going to the void, going to, you know, be nothing, be no one, be nowhere, all of those types of things, right? And I do enjoy his meditations, but because of my experience with the Silva method, the QHHT, Monroe Institute, my process, even, on my own Substack where I guide people through hypnosis. I did a void class. I don't know if my void class is still up on the replays. I might have to repost it. But I did a class guiding people to the void to find answers. And so, however, for me personally, because of my process of using these other types of methods, which are, you work down, either work through the body down, work through the brain waves down, or in Monroe, you work up, whatever these methods are, you basically use visualization to get yourself somewhere else. And so, you know, I love Joe Dispenza's meditations, but as I've been doing them recently, I'm like, I need a little bit more work to get to the nothing. I can't just be like, go be nothing, go be nowhere, go, like I'm not there yet that I could just be commanded to the void. So as I was starting this meditation, because I've been doing some of them, I was like, I'm going to do like my own preparation myself in the beginning of the meditation to get myself to the void. So what I did was I started to work up from the feet. So like I'll visualize the feet looking like a golden glowing goddess tonight. Thanks, Whitney. My God. um, so I started working and so this is something that you guys can do as well. If you're doing a meditation and you're trying to get to the void, this is the method that I don't know, on the spot created in the beginning of the thing. But it's the same thing as all of these other methods. It's the same thing. Like a million different things do this same type of method. But what I did was started at my feet. I visualized and felt my feet, felt a tingling sensation in my feet. I feel pulse, pulse, pulse on the feet with my eyes closed. And then I see it dissolve. Then I move up to my calves and I visualize my calves. I feel my calves. I feel the energy of the calves, pulse, pulse, pulse. I either visualize a pulse, I feel the sensations, feel the warmth, whatever you feel, pulse, 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 and then see it dissolve in your mind. Go up to the knees, do the same thing. Feel the knees, feel the tension of the knees, feel that think about the knees, pulse, 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 see them dissolve. Then go up to, your upper legs, your hips, your lower stomach, your middle stomach, your chest, your heart, your throat, your arms, your hands, the neck. And you could do it also like by chakras, by energy centers, however. And then you get to the top and you see your last, and then you see it dissolve, and then maybe see something like a light on top of your head dissolve or something on top of your head dissolve. I do by numbers. So I go 10 up the head. And then if I'm going to a higher state of consciousness, I turn the lights on. If I'm dissolving, I'm turning them off. But whatever works for you. And then I dissolve myself. Then I use another method that I learned from the Monroe Institute, which is the energy conversion box. And the energy conversion box is what you do in the beginning of all of your meditations. Anything that is going to hold you back from doing the work that you need to do in that meditation, you visualize a box in your mind that is so heavy, that the lid is so heavy, and the box can look however you want. It could be a coffin, could be a crystal, could be made of amethyst, it could be made of stone, it could be made of flowers, whatever it is, but you're the only one that has the strength to open that box. And you put the stuff in there. Like if I'm trying, like when I was at Monroe Institute, I put my phone in there because my phone represented everybody who wasn't in Monroe with me, every means of communication, no offense, you guys, the whole social media world, my whole connection to the outside world, I would see myself put the phone in there. I would see myself put um, feelings, relationships, anything that is like in your sphere. So I'm doing this to get to the void in this Joe Dispenza meditation the other day. Work up the body to just have dissolved all of the body. Then anything that's left, I'm putting in the box. So I'm like, okay, I'm putting the phone in the box. I'm putting my friendships, relationships in the box. So putting anything connected to the self. So there's no body. Anything connected to any people in my life in the box. Any places that I am, places that I've been, places that I've gone to, places that I have been. I'm like, I'm putting Bali in the box. I'm putting Peru in the box. I'm putting New Jersey in the box. I'm putting LA. I'm putting Louisiana in the box, everything in the box, just so I can get to the void of nothing. So I'm putting it all in the box. Okay. And then any types of emotions and relationships. And so, like, any types of feelings, insecurities, things that have been coming up in my head, things on the to-do list, something I have to get at the store, putting all that in the box. So I'm like crowding the box with all this stuff and like letting it go, letting it go. And then I do my last part, which is then I step into the box. Anything that is left of me, I drop into the box, and then I step out, visualize myself putting the lid back on, and start to walk away from the box. So the box is now behind me. Everything that I'm leaving behind is behind me. So now I'm like, okay, I can get more to the void. Someone said, are you talking about the void from a Buddhist or Tao perspective or something else? So what was interesting, what Joe Dispenza talks about is the void is all of this stuff, right? The void is nothing. The void is also the creator. The void is the all. The void is the all in the all. It's consciousness. It's 0 point. It's the oneness. It's wholeness. It's everything. So talk about it from a Buddhist perspective is one aspect of it. People are talking about the void from a scientific perspective. From every type of perspective, it is the even on like a scientific level, it's like the space between all the atoms, right? It's the nothing, the space between all the atoms. Like it's the 0 point. It's so the void is the source of all things. So yeah. So it's could be it's yes, it's the nothing that becomes everything. It's God, it's consciousness, it's the universe. So getting to the void is then okay. So then put myself in the box. I get out of the box. Like I step out, close it, start walking. And I actually had forgot by this point that I'm doing a tuning into the heart meditation because I'm already like doing some heavy lifting to try to get myself to the void and like really be there with the nothing but it wasn't nothing because then I feel my heart is the only thing that is there. There's nothing I know that the box might be somewhere back there, but I'm like, okay, the box is gone now. But I still felt tethered to the box, and it was my heart. And my heart was like feeling heavy. It's, yeah, it's free of time and space. Exactly. So my heart was feeling heavy, and my heart was just feeling like kind of sad, kind of. And I'm like, what the hell? What the hell is what the fuck is this? And then, and so I'm like kind of sitting with that feeling because there's nothing except my heart with this feeling is the only thing in the void. And Joe Dispenza, he's in the background. I'm half tuned out to the meditation and he's like, feel the heart, tune into the heart. And I'm thinking this is going to be like a, ah, nice type of heart. And I'm like, what? This again, this feeling of unworthiness, being unlovable, not good enough, self-hatred. And I'm like, what the this again? How how much more do you need? And then like my mind starts coming in and it's like, how much more do you fucking need? You've got more love than many people will ever get in a lifetime. How much more do you want in this bottomless pit, Jen? How could you still feel unworthy, unlovable, not good enough? What the hell still? How many years of meditation, ayahuasca, self-work, shadow work, every dang meditation method, every healing method, every single person has worked on you, every single thing. How much more? I'm like laying next to my husband. He's doing the meditation. I'm like, you have your perfect partner who loves you so fucking much. Like, what else do you want? You greedy pig. You bottomless pit. And so feed me, Seymour. Yeah, exactly. And you said you reached that moment in yoga and part of you still cries. It's tired of carrying the load. And so I'm like, God, the 4 nights, uh, in on the ground in Peru wasn't enough. All the purging wasn't enough to get rid of it. The parts work wasn't enough. The shadow work wasn't enough. The mushrooms, the ayahuasca, the shamanic healing, the bioenergizers things, the stuff, the freaking light, sound, vibration, the sound bowls, the frequencies, it's not enough. And I'm like, I just get like frustrated with myself, like, again, this again, this is old. The heck. And then I kind of like start to kind of get this like feeling of like, and whatever. If you believe in beings in this way, great. If not, see them as subconscious, symbolic things. But for me, it's always been mantis beings my whole life, ever since I was a kid. And so, like mantis, right away, they're always ready to do the surgery. So they start coming in and kind of pulling stuff off the heart, pulling the thorns and the goo off the heart. And I'm kind of like, what is this? Why? Why still? What the heck? Send ever going to end? And then I start to get like this whole information, download, revelation, epiphany, whatever you want to call it. And it's like reminding me that I just read about the gene keys, that I just was reading in human design, that the line 6 is this transpersonal karma, that the QHHT purpose. And it was saying to me, it was like that. Not to say that these aren't mine, not to be like, "Oh, I'm doing this for you guys, okay? All the things that I do, the good, bad, and the ugly are all for you, not for me. I don't need these lessons." No, it's not saying that, but it's saying that, like, in this human design stuff, it says, uh your mind will eventually come to realize that all the answers you've been gathering for so long were never really intended for you. They are simply building up a great reservoir for the sake of helping others to resolve their questions. And so it was reminding me of this at that moment. And it was like showing me like your heart, the real heart is fine. This is all a game. Like, this is all fine. And yeah, it was showing me like this next step in your purpose, because the purpose is helping people align with their purpose, helping people understand themselves better, helping to put words to things that are what I go through. And then that sometimes is the medicine for someone else. Like, not everybody is going to do ayahuasca, but me talking about all the gunk and dirt that came up while on ayahuasca is sometimes the medicine that someone needs to hear. Me going through an honest process of dealing with unworthiness, unlovableness, and feelings like that, like those things. And it was showing me, like, yeah, you're still feeling this because you still have work to do on talking about these topics. There's still, and it was showing me like this is not the whole purpose is to forever deal with people's unlovableness and your own unlovableness or your own unworthiness. It's your next step right now. This week, this day, today, the next step of this game is for you to realize that these things are like not yours and then explain that to other people so that they can know that it's also not theirs, that their real heart, that their real soul is behind all of these things, and that this is just like not even real. This is make believe. You're not actually unlovable. You're not actually unworthy. You're not actually, there is no real self hatred. It is literally just like a Halloween costume that you're wearing right now. And I was like, oh, and then it was letting me know, like, the reason I'm dealing with, like, comparison in my life, because I do look around at, like, a lot of people that are in, like, similar adjacent spaces to me, and I have been for, like, the last several months dealing with a lot of comparison, and it was like, yeah, the reason you're dealing with comparison is because you're not meant to do it like other people. And it's like, I have consumed all of the spiritual content from all different types of people, and it's like, what I see is like what I don't resonate with at this time in my life, at this step of my journey, is like most of these people are not going to tell you that they still feel moments of self-hatred, that they still feel unworthy, that they still feel unlovable because they want to prove that their method works, that their healing works, that they're the right practitioner, that their course is the right one. And then we see all of these people, the master manifester, the master channeler, the master astrologer, the master this, the master that, whatever, the master healer, the master this. Then all of a sudden we see the Instagram post of the last 2 years has been the hardest 2 years of my life. And what I've gone through has been absolute hell. And it's like, well, dang, you've been preaching that you're living your dreams and your manifestation course is the way, or that you're ascended and this is your last life. And now you're coming out of the closet of you got problems like everybody else. And it's like, that's what like this gap that I feel that like I am in, that I fill in, that it's like, it doesn't make me less qualified to help people because I am people too. I am people too. Okay, people? So, you said, "Are you achieving the level of forward momentum you desire?" Okay, so that's a wonderful question. Or is that for somebody else? Well, I'll answer it. So, master procrastinator, that's what I'm working on right now is my procrastination. Am I achieving the level of forward momentum that I desire? There's 2 different aspects of it. My ego wants more, bigger, badder, better, take me to the bigger stage. Sell the book, put it on all the shelves of all the bookstores. Yeah. World tour of helping people in arenas. Yeah. Okay, so that's what the ego self says, you know? what the more heart-centered self says is like, the universe knows better than I do. I want for nothing because every single thing that has come to me in the last several years is better than what I was thinking. Like, is more fulfilling than what I was thinking. The love is deeper. The community is better. The connection is better. The messages from people of how I've helped them is better than the excitement of like a vision of like, say, someone speaking in an arena and like helping millions of people. But the fulfillment of what actually has come is like more fulfilling than what I would have dreamed of, you know? If it was up to me, my ego and my manifestations of what I wanted, I wouldn't be here right now in Louisiana with the most amazing man, perfect for me, and me hopefully perfect for him. Like, I wouldn't be in this situation because the universe had better plans for me. As the Christians say, God has better plans for you than you have for yourself. So, if it was up to me, I would be doing something different and I would be missing out on this because, the part of me that was like manifesting all of those things didn't even think this was available to me because I was still stuck in the unlovable, unworthy. Is there really someone who's going to love me the way that I am? I would have been a lesbian in Montana. Exactly, Natasha. A lesbian in Bali. I would have relocated to Costa Rica. Yeah. If it was up to me. Um, but no, but that's the thing is so being able to surrender, like being able to trust in something bigger, but then also too looking at the purpose, right? If my purpose or look at some of these other people's purposes, like was to be love. There's so many people who were like their purpose was to be love in this lifetime. Let me see if I can get the mouse over there to that screen. You know what? I can figure out there we go. Thanks. I can figure out the mysteries of the universe. I can barely figure out a mouse on 2 screens. Okay. Do you think the plant medicine helped you make the leap? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think that plant medicine is for everybody. I think for me, it was, but again, it kind of comes back to like my experiences, my lessons I'm supposed to share. And then that helps people to understand themselves. So I do think my healing process happening in front of people's eyes, right? Like, I mean, you guys can go back to the old Tuesday Night Lives. Go back to the Tuesday Night Lives. I was a different person. I would have been a lesbian in Montana. I would have been this. I would have been that. I would have been who knows. So it's like it's been happening in front of people's eyes for this whole time. I mean, I'd be hunting the Antichrist right now. Mm, sorry, I'm gulping down water. Um, how did you learn to listen to the universe? How do you know? Okay, so that's something that the plant medicine helped me with, but you don't need to do the plant medicine because I'm going to explain it to you. Is it's trust. So I was just writing some stuff, which is going to be in my next book, you guys. But uh, I was just writing a chapter about faith versus trust. And faith is a belief, right? So the belief of like trusting God, trusting the universe, trusting that things will work out, like the belief that there's something greater. But trust is different than faith. Faith is a belief. It could be a very strong belief. And not to say you can't have both. A lot of people who have faith have trust as well. But faith is the belief. And that belief can take people very far. But what it is trust is what happened to me. And I struggled with faith before because It was hard. I understood the concept of everything's working out for me. Everything is going to work out. Everything's working out better than I can plan. The universe has a better plan for me. God has a better plan for me. The creator has a better plan for me. My higher self has a better plan for me. Like, I understood those concepts. I had the belief in those concepts. People have faith in those concepts. When I did the ayahuasca, after my heart was able to release all of the distrust that I've had towards so many people and things, it's embodied. Trust is a knowing in your body of like everything's working out. Is it like when you choose trust over fear? It is a choice. It is it was a choice that was easier with the assistance of plant medicine, but not everybody gets that experience out of plant medicine. So I can't say that that's how you get it, but you can train yourself to see it. Look for those tests in the universe. Look for those things. And also, like, trust that this is like similar to what I said of like what came up in that Joe Dispenza meditation for me. Like, I have a hair in my mouth. Um, that it was showing me that like this heart that was like had goo and thorns and unworthiness and unlovableness and things like that was literally just a costume. It was just a Halloween costume. It's not even real. It's not even me. It's the character that I picked for the game right now. And that the true heart behind it is so fine. It's totally good. And like the more we like lean into those things and look at the world through the perspective of like, everything's working out. Everything's fine. Like believing your gut feeling without questioning. That's a great question. And when I get to the human design stuff that I'm going to start doing over the next couple weeks, it's going to be also getting into that because that is one of the centers of the body. And some people have an open and some people have a defined center. So that gut feeling is how some people make decisions. There's many different types of people. And so this is the other thing that's interesting about oh, hey Johnny. I'm glad you're here. What is my human design? I'm a manifesting generator 6-2 with a triple split and a sacral authority. So the sacral authority is that gut feeling, which bypasses thought, which bypasses questioning, which bypasses logic, is a yes or no question. So for me, it probably was easier to shift into trust from that gut feeling of, oh, everything is God. So I can trust everything. Even if it's super tragic and fucked up, I can trust it. You know, do I want those things to happen? No. No, of course not. Of course I don't want those things to happen. But if I find myself in that situation, then I know on a deep level, like, we will all be fine. No matter how much thorns are in the heart, it's just the Halloween costume and the real soul, the real heart, the real person, the real self is fine. You're just playing a character that feels unlovable. You're just playing have a Halloween costume of somebody who and you're super into your character, and that's why the title of this was around, like, doubt kills the purpose faster than the failure. So let's get into that. Like, if you try and it doesn't go the way you want, that gets you further than the doubt. So when we get to this concept of purpose, everyone's purpose is so simple. So, so, so simple. I read you guys all of these different purposes. Most of them were to love, to help, to experience, to understand. And then there was usually a second part, which was to love and be love for others, to be a light for others and for yourself, to understand and then help others understand, to experience and then help others understand their experience or to help others experience these things. You know, sometimes it's through a certain means. So some people will say, like, oh, well, they're going to experience love and suffering in this life, and then they're going to lead by example. So it's like, it really is that simple. And there's many different manifestations of how a purpose will play out. So, like, a purpose can play out as, like, yeah, it could be through art, but it can also be at a coffee shop talking to the barista for a second. It could also be playing out in some super grand way, like, creating some technology that changes the world, but then it can also be as simple as smiling at someone on the street. If your purpose is to love and to help others experience love, then it is that simple to call a friend and say, "Hey, I just wanted to check on you. How you doing? What's going on?" And then they feel that connection and they feel pulled back in and back part of the community and back part of the game and back lit up and inspired again. Or, yeah, so what are you working on? You know, what have you been looking at? What have you been researching? Like, it is that simple. It's not a career, it's not a job. It can, if you're lucky and you live in alignment, you can do that in your work. But anybody can do that in their work. If you are a waitress and your purpose is to teach people love by example, then you just are nice to people that are in your section that night, and they go home and they're like, "You know what? We had such a nice time. That waitress was so nice." Like, it really is that simple. And this find your purpose is a mind fuck of thinking it's lost. There is nothing lost. What you remember your purpose, and your purpose, everything is love. So it's some form of love, some form of understanding. So then unconditional love, right? We have our regular type of love, right? We all get that. We all know what regular type of love is. The unconditional love is understanding, right? Unconditional love understands all. It understands why somebody does something fucked up, why somebody hurts another person, why somebody hurts themselves, why somebody makes a bad decision, why somebody makes a life altering decision that could lead to people dying. That is unconditional love. Why a certain world leader does a certain thing, why a certain war happens, why an organization happens that becomes disruptive. Like, that is unconditional love. So even all the purposes come back to love in one way or another. So it's either, and then what is experience? Experience comes back to love, to unconditional love, right? So experience is a form of unconditional love, right? Because how do we experience unconditional love? Through many different experiences. So, experiencing unconditional love is maybe some people throughout my life have cheated on me and made me feel unworthy of love or hurt or not good enough. And then unconditional love is being able to understand, like, damn, and that person was hurting. That person was once a child. And throughout the way, they lost sight with their honesty, with being true to themselves. They lost control of their impulses. Does that mean I need to still be like, whatever, getting hurt by those people? No. But it means, like, the understanding, the compassion doesn't mean I don't have boundaries of those situations, but understanding, experience, it all comes back to love. It is all unconditional love. So, like, at the end, all purposes, like, even my purpose in QHHT said my purpose was to help other people find their purpose, or, like, remember what their purpose is. The Gene Keys says that my purpose is, like, all of these experiences is to help people understand themselves better. What is that? Understand themselves better. Understand themselves is unconditional love. To learn how to have unconditional love for themselves. Every single thing, all paths to all purposes will come back to unconditional love because unconditional love is underneath it all. That's what's the void. That's what's the all. That's what's the creator. That's what's creation. That's what's the all, the nothing. All of that is the word that we can use for it is unconditional love. And so if you are going in that direction, also with the thing with purpose is like you already know it. You already know it. All of these people had some feeling when we would talk after they're out of the hypnosis, if their purpose was to help people. What is helping people? Helping people is unconditional love, right? All purposes lead back there. So if we think that, like, okay, I don't know what my purpose is. What am I meant to do in this life? Start going in that direction. And you already know. Trust me, you already know. If somebody says, oh, my purpose was to, there was the one that was around like loneliness, that this person experienced loneliness in their life. And then now they were meant to help other people who felt lonely in their life to feel loved, to feel community. There's people who are doing it through being a leader and using their voice. That maybe is standing up for people or being a voice for people. That is all coming back to unconditional love. You're always going to be going in this direction. And none of these people were shocked. None of these people in all of these hypnosis clients, and I just read just some that I was able to pull up in my notes here, was like, none of them were like, whoa, that's weird. Help people? I don't know. I never thought I was going to do that. They're never like, oh, help people understand themselves better. I never thought I was gonna do that. No, they already when they hear it, they said, "Wow, that's what I've done effortlessly always. I've always helped people. I've always found the outsider and made them feel connected. Oh, I've always used my voice to speak up for people. Oh, I've always" Oh, TikTok. I gotcha. Okay. I've always, helped people to have a different perspective on something. I've always been someone to give advice or give this or do this. Like, no one is, like, shocked because you already are. You already are your purpose. You're already doing your purpose. You're already living in your purpose, and what it is, like, going back to the basics. Now, do you wanna use that purpose now that you're like, "Okay, my purpose is to help people understand themselves?" Maybe it's in a form like I'm doing it, which is, content, writing, whatever speaking, whatever other capacity I'm gonna do it with. I created my workbooks. My workbooks help people to understand themselves better in a way, right? It turns them how to understand tarot. And then they use tarot to understand themselves better. Like all things lead back. Because, okay, so what is the purpose of the one? Because now we're getting big, juicy, big concept here, right? What is the purpose of the one? To experience, to understand itself, to be love, to split into all these different parts so that it can experience, understand itself in all of these different situations and all these different experiences. And then what it does is helps itself, loves itself, understands itself, fractals into all of these different things. Like it is literally to expand. Yeah, to expand. Right. Jen Zoe from My Human Design says that your purpose is whatever comes easiest to you, but other people always comment on how great you are at that thing. Interesting. Right. That is like an interesting. I mean, I think I'm getting pretty zoomed out big purpose because they all do come back to love and unconditional love. But then, okay, how do you do that? Right. Like, and I think too, sometimes people might get a little burnt out on their purpose, right? Because sometimes they can overgive. Like, say someone's purpose is to help, maybe they got kind of burnt out on their purpose to help. Or maybe being understanding, maybe they got too understanding and they have those lessons to learn themselves. Is the purpose always in relationship to others or can it be inner work? It can be. So I have some older clients that are not here on this computer, um, from the first people that I ever practiced on, actually. And I had 2 people that were very unique, and they were someone who didn't seek out QHHT because they were practice sessions. So someone had told them to do it. And so these were not people who had sought out a QHHT experience. They were people who were like, "You should do this." And one of them, I asked her if she wanted to do it, and she didn't know, and she wasn't really into it. So those 2 people had a different purpose than all these other people, but similar to each other. So I don't know that, me looking for patterns and everything. One of them, the purpose was to have fun. And what's makes the universe so fucking funny. What makes the universe so funny is that she came from the most strict family ever. She literally was not allowed to have fun as a kid because she was in this sport, this thing, this team, this club. And it was like overachiever, like to the point that she was like in all of these competitive sports and she would like break toes and still have to go to practice. So, like, it's interesting that her purpose was around having fun. And she was born into a situation and to, very Virgo, very like everything about her and all of these things was very like hard to have fun. So, and then another person had a purpose to relax. And that was also like something that was difficult for them to do with their circumstances. So those 2 people did not seek out QHHT. So that's what's interesting is they're someone who probably would have not been in this situation had someone not said like, "Hey, you wanna do this? You had a dream this summer, and the whole plot was God understanding itself through you, your choices, and all the odd characters in your dreamscape. Woke up feeling like you finally grasped that concept. Wow." So that's the thing is, but even that, right? If someone's purpose is to have fun, if someone's purpose is to relax, that is still a form of like experiencing, right? That's what the one God consciousness wants to experience through that person. That's what that person wants to. Hope she starts having fun. I believe she does now. A lot has happened. That was like 5 years ago, more than 5 years ago. So a lot has changed in her life, like everything. I do the QHHT remotely. I do it digitally. And I know. They say you're not allowed to do it digitally, but it is what it is. And listen, nobody, maybe not nobody, but very few people honor Dolores Cannon's work like me. Okay. So I have, oh, thanks, Rebecca. She said she's great at it, everybody. She said she's great. She said I'm great. Okay. Let's pull a card for a little guidance. Like, can't be a healer unless you've been broken, damaged. The plot is always a catalyst for the outcome. I believe so. So, this concept, I don't like to talk about it before it's written, but, I want to write a book that's kind of like a little bit of like a ploy, pun. Oh my God. A pun on my last name. So, my last name is Carmody, which is karma and comedy, like, together, right? Carmody. And one of the greatest things that I learn in these hypnosis sessions is how funny creation is. This karma comedy thing, like, the person who's meant to relax never gets to relax. The person who's meant to be fun doesn't get to have fun. The person who they didn't come up here, but in these ones that I clicked on, but there's someone who their purpose was around, or one of their greatest life lessons was around rejection, was, um, to be, like, rejection proof was one of the greatest lessons. It wasn't their purpose. It was one of their greatest lessons in this lifetime, was to become rejection proof. And literally this person has dealt with so much rejection. And it's kind of like that's what the universe does is like, there was someone else who was like, you know, one of their greatest lessons was around freedom, and then they were born into one of the most restrictive, controlling religions on the planet. Like, I'm just, like, constantly feeling like, "Wow. Wow, Derb." Derb says, "Dang, you're too pretty to be crazy." You know what? I'll take a compliment. I'll take it. I'll take it. Um, where do you sign up for the remote QHHT work? So I do my sessions. I think they're the link in my TikTok bio. It'll say like book a hypnosis session. And then in the below the details of the video, it'll say like a link for booking a QHHT. Has anyone ever been told multiple purposes in one session? So a lot of times they're twofold purposes. Yeah. So it could be like sometimes if their higher self is more wordy, it'll give more details. So yeah, some people say it's like to this and this. And then some people it's like to this and this, and they're going to do it through these means. So you can have multiple, but usually the purpose is pretty broad, like that encompasses so many different things that you get to do so much. Like there's so many different things in this lifetime that you can do to help people understand. Like for me, helping people to find their purpose. I could do that in many different ways. I could, I wouldn't want to be in this situation, but even if I was homeless, I could help people find their purpose, because if people's purpose is really just to like help people, then someone helping me in that situation, I could be helping them to live their purpose. It is really that simple, and it plays out in everything in all areas of life. You're also very good at explaining complicated topics in a funny way. Thank you. Well, that's what it says, right? Is part of my purpose. The jokes write themselves. Okay. Um, we got the sun card, you guys. The sun. Let the sun shine. The sun will shine down on us. QHHT was a weird experience and your mind went blank. I could not see anything. Does that happen? A lot of people don't see. What's interesting is I have a very visual mind. I didn't see during QHHT, or very little I saw. It was mostly I just like had to step aside and let words come through. Karma comedy is so funny. I know. I got to write a book on it. Because I have so many things like that. Like even too, like say one of the things that came up when I was in a meditation about someone who I find pretty annoying, who's very close to me. Um, uh, it was telling me like they're just trying to be seen for who they are. And that's almost like the paradox of it is like they're doing all of this stuff to be seen, which is annoying. And their true nature is not annoying, but it makes them come across as annoying. So that's what's interesting about it is that like they're trying to be seen for who they are, but by trying to be seen for who they are actually is making them not be seen for what they are because it comes off as annoying because it's trying so hard and sucking attention and energy from people. So this is coming from the Mike Wilcox Tarot Oracle deck. Okay. You did QHHT, you saw and you couldn't talk. Oh wow. To be seen without performing, but for your authenticity. Right. I know this is the paradox of everything. We're all dealing with this, right? Okay, so the sun, you guys. Father, day, fire, passion, creation, growth, land, light, life, best self. Now, Mike Wilcox has like his own meanings for some of these cards. So that's why I like to read him and not just go by the regular tarot meaning. So the sun appears to remind us just of how vast our impact can be. Just as the sun radiates across the universe and gives perpetual energy to all things here on earth, so it goes with our own power. When we choose to shine our truest selves in strength, positivity, and warmth, it has a profound impact on all those around us, far beyond what we can see ourselves. The power to grow, the power to spread love, the power to shine. A smile or a simple act of kindness to a stranger can turn their whole day around, as well as with our loved ones who sometimes we take for granted and don't treat with the same politeness and courtesy that we would a stranger. When we make the choice to show up with love and positivity, it doesn't mean things aren't difficult or painful or that we aren't feeling, but that we are strong and wish to be our best selves despite any outside circumstances. That version of us is always available to choose throughout our days. The sun calls forth our deepest passions. Our love for our love and our passions are like the sun of our hearts and our greatest sources of energy. Think of how much you are willing to do for those you love or how much you are willing to do for your dreams. Keeping those motivations present in your mind unlocks some of your greatest strengths. While we are human, it can be difficult to remain positive all the time. And we can look again at the sun for lessons as a powerful conduit of transformation. Be deliberate in processing difficult emotions. Sometimes we have to contain our emotions to function in society, relationships, the workplace, etc. You can take time later to breathe and take a look at anything that has happened. When you shine like the sun, things don't just roll off of you, they go poof. Find healthy ways to process and release negative emotions. A helpful visualization can be to picture the negative emotion or situation and shrink it down in your hand and toss it into the sky towards the sun, letting it be transformed and away from your energy. Additionally, spend some time as you can in the sun. Spend some time as you can, as much time as you can in the sun every day. Do meaningful things outside, have more fun. Remember to prioritize time and enjoy your days. Your mantra: I am unveiling my true nature. I am radiant and full of love. Reflections: how are you showing up in your days? What are you most passionate about? What is your fire? What are you most drawn towards? And what speaks to you? Ugh, you guys, my God. That was literally everything we just talked about. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Violet. You guys. You guys. What do you think about Three Eye Atlas? I don't think about it. I haven't even looked into it. Um, yes. The more this is more optimistic for me going into Pluto being direct in your Aquarius stellium. It resonates very positive, humanitarian vibes. Well, look, let's talk a little bit about that. So, like I've said a million times, I'm not an astrologer. I'm far from any expert on the topic. But as we know, Pluto just went direct yesterday. And so it went direct in Aquarius, and now we are like in the next 20 years cycle of Pluto in Aquarius. And, we had a really amazing day. I don't know if you guys remember, it was a Tuesday last year. I think it was around October or November. And we did a Tuesday night live when Pluto first went into Aquarius. And if you want, go back and do it because it was a lot of fun. But it's a really long live. It's like 2.5 hours. And we went through every year of Capricorn Pluto, and we talked about like what were movies, what were TV shows, and then we were like, okay, well then what was your happening in your life? This is what was happening in the news, this was happening in pop culture, this was happening in that. This would trigger memories of what happened in your life at that time. And then we would think about what happened in our life at that time, and then we're like everybody was saying it in the comments and everybody was like sharing what happened in their life at that time. It was like such great vibes. And then it was like, okay, now send love and appreciation to that person, that version of yourself. And then we moved on. And then so we did like 16 years of that, which is why the live was so long. But now, we went this little bit of time, these like whatever, how many months, we went back into retrograde. A great episode. It was a great episode. That was a good one. That one was so fun. And then you guys, when I got off that live that night, I did it on myself because obviously, when I'm facilitating it, I'm reading the comments and telling the jokes, keeping the vibes, being the MC of the situation. But I was like, okay, I want to do this exercise myself because I don't know. Everybody's like, where'd you get this exercise? I'm like, I don't know. I just made it up like 5 minutes before coming onto the live. And then I was like, that was good. I want to do it. I did it for myself. I went through 16 years of my experiences and like gave love to each part of that. And then I did parts work on myself after. And in that parts work, my 14-year-old self came forward, my 21-year-old self came forward, my 23-year-old self came forward, my 29 and like 30 something self came forward. All of them had been very hurt by relationships. And we did parts work with each one of those parts to be like, okay, well, what do you need? What do you need? And all of those parts told me that like they want a loyal, loving partner. And I was still not comfortable with that idea yet. And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, then I'm gonna like work with each part of myself that had all got brought up from those last 16 years. Um, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna promise to all these parts of myself that um I'm willing to open up to that. And then my amazing husband appeared in my life no more than 6 weeks or something after that, you know? But it was like I had to make that conscious I had to promise all of those parts of myself that I was gonna, like, make a good decision for them. Sounds like a very powerful meditation. What was the name of the episode? It's probably on my YouTube. You put JK Ultra Pluto in Aquarius. I think it should come up with that. And it's not really like a guided meditation, it's a bit more of like a fun vibe, that is kind of a little bit of a meditation, but it was great because really to go through all of those years and kinda talk about the songs, the movies, the pop culture, the news, and we kinda talk about a bunch of different things that happened, so it sparks memories, and then also too, we were kinda doing it collectively for each other too, because then sometimes people would bring up something really traumatic that happened in the comments, and then we would, like, all, like, kinda send them love. It was so beautiful. Interactive exercise, it was. And here we are a year later. I know. Oh my god. Here we are. You made it to the live. Neil, hello. Welcome. Do you know your spirit guides or believe you have them? Yeah, I do. I mean, I mostly am connected to my higher self. So I ask my higher self everything and I always go to my higher self. As far as like a spirit team, every single time, even when other people work on me, they say like the same things come through, which is mantises always. Even too, like uh my friend who had done work on me, uh, she said like when she called in the spirit guides in the beginning, she was like, boom, the first thing that popped up was like a giant mantis. She was like, oh, whoa, that's crazy. Um, so yeah, for sure, mantises, Archangel Michael is one that always comes up for me. And then also gray aliens. Yeah. The grays. They always they ride hard for this gal right here. People could talk a lot of shit about them, but you know what? They got my back. Do you always check in the Akashic records when making decisions? No, I rarely do. I rarely check in the Akashic records. I do. It's interesting you ask because there was something that I was thinking about that I did want to ask recently. I don't check very often. I check only when I'm unsure. So, or curiosity or advice. Like, probably I did check with the Akashic records recently, actually. I forget what I was doing. About a week ago, I checked in with the Akashic records about something. It wasn't something I was uncertain about. I think I was doing a meditation, and during the meditation, I asked something. I can't remember. Um, but I'll ask, you said mantises scare you, a dream you had. Oh, maybe you were abducted, not to scare you. Yeah, because, a lot of times the gray abduction thing is connected to the mantis thing, but did it take you a long time to be able to check your Akashic records? No. For me, no, but I've always been connected to them. That has been my, like I don't do all the stuff. I'm not like connecting with everything and everyone and every being. And, some people will channel anything and anyone and always. And, I'm not, I'm not an open book. I don't want I'll read the information here in the physical. But for me, it's those very like few things always. And it's always been those things. So the Akashic Records has always been. Now, I have a video on my YouTube. Well, it teaches you how to do it. So if you guys want to access the Akashic Records, I have a video called like How to Read the Akashic Records, JK Ultra on YouTube. Um, it's a process. I'll teach you how to do it. Will it be as easy for everybody? I don't know. Would other things be as easy for me that it is for other people? No. There's so many other modalities that I'm not going to just get right away. That one was easy and natural to me, but aside from that, like, no, if I'm just like, "Oh, I'm an energy healer now," I'm not gonna just be an energy healer because that's just not my natural gift, inclination. If I wanna be attuned in that, I probably could be attuned in it. Anybody who is called to it can be attuned to something, but I do think people have some natural inclinations towards things, similar to, like, some people are naturally good singers, some people are naturally good writers. Anybody can learn how to write, anybody can learn how to sing. But I think that there's natural gifts that we can lean into more because they're more aligned with us. Visually, what does it look like for you there? Is it similar to Ready Player One, a big library? I know it shows up differently for everyone. Um, so it's interesting. I talk about it on an old YouTube video, a very old YouTube video that I probably seem completely different because I have changed like a million times since that video. But I talk about the first time I accessed the Akashic Records was through astral projection because I didn't know how. And I had been wanting to for so long go there. And I would like listen to stuff about like libraries all the time. And I've always had this like, I mean, even when I was in school, I would stay after school and stay in the library. And I would print out things and create little workbooks. I remember I created a workbook about the number 12, and I was like, "There's 12 gods." There was way more than 12 gods. I don't know why I thought there was 12 gods in Greek mythology. There's way more than that. But I was like, "There's 12 gods, there's 12 months, there's 12 zodiac, there's 12 sailor moons, people, whatever, the sailor scouts, there's 12 gemstones." I thought there was 12 of everything. I don't know. The textbook was only telling me 12, but I was convinced that there was only 12 of everything. And I was like, yeah, there's 12 cupcakes. Exactly. There's 12 stuffed animals. So I still wanted to do a video on the 12 because it is true that there is a lot of significance to the number 12. 12 was a big year for me. Okay. I started smoking weed when I was 12. So that's what the whole 12 was about, apparently. No, the 12 foreshadowing was that was the year I became a pothead. But I'm getting distracted. First time I saw the Akashic Records, I did see it as a library, as a big building, not a building, a place, with a library inside. But when I accessed the way that I teach in that video, which is the Linda Howe method, which is the prayer method, which I think is the most effective, is the prayer method. When I did it through astral projection, I couldn't get information. So I could see some stuff, but I couldn't get information. I didn't know how to get information. I couldn't get anything. So it was like I could see things, but there was no way for me to retrieve any information because I was just like passing through. But with the tried and true method, the real method. Now there is other people's methods, but there is a real method that is tried and true that I don't know how many thousands of people use, and anybody can learn this method. This is not like a whatever way feels right to you, whatever your method is. No, this is a real method that you follow rules and do. This is a real modality, is the one that I teach in the free video. It's just a video on my YouTube. Just go watch it. There's no catch. And so that method, I don't see anything. Very rarely do I see anything. I see black, which is again rare for me, but That's when information comes through in words. If the information's coming through in words, I won't get visuals. Mostly in meditation, I get information from visuals and some words, but, like, if it's coming through, like, full sentence words, I don't see anything. There's a guy that's there, like a keeper, who sometimes I saw the first time, and sometimes there's, like, the energy of him, and then one time I accessed for my friend, accessed her records, and she is a very gifted witch practitioner, and that was the only time I ever saw some other stuff there, and there was these 3 big beings that were, like, cloaked all in black cloaks and had, like, 3 books. Each had 1 book, and they had no faces. They were like women, but you wouldn't be able to see that they were women. They're just cloaked beings, and there were these 3 women, and that was the only time I ever saw anything when I went the prayer method. Linda Howe is so awesome. Yeah. Linda Howe and Linda Moulton Howe. Yeah. Oh, in human design, it seems like you are coded for more individualized natural gifts and abilities within the meat suit too along the soul. I have to look into that. You know, where I'm at right now in the human design, I'm still in the lower part of the body chart and the lower part of the gates. So I'm not in those higher gates yet. So a lot of them are still more about survival and instinct and intuition and physical and emotional and a lot of like human body stuff. So I'm working my way up slowly. I also learned through Linda Howe method, and you channel mostly by listening to words and some sensations and past lives. They come through as visuals and dreams, first person. The Valkyrie. Mm. Sounds like the sage. What is this? The fates. What do you got? What are these things? Same, but you are wiser. Huh? Thanks. Mall world. What's up with mall world? Mall world. Mall world. I guess it's a TikTok trend about mall world. Um, I've never seen the videos, but I have one of my really close friends had told me about a mall dream that she had been having for years and years and years, a mall dream. And then also I had a hypnosis client last year talk one of her questions was about a mall dream that she was having that was reoccurring. So, it is interesting that it's coming up in that way. I don't know anything about it. I don't think I have ever had a dream like that. Um, don't forget to like the live. Yes. The sage in the Akashic records. Oh. Yeah, he was like a little old man. When you saw the toilet stall with no walls and you stepped in, yes, you've been to Mall World bathroom. I don't know. I haven't seen this video. I need to look up what Mall World is after this. It's more than a mall. It's numerous places all connected that people keep dreaming about. Oh, I feel like I always dream about places like that that are like I dream about like a city, not that much anymore, but I used to dream about a city that was all different cities together. Like, it was a little bit Miami, it was a little bit Vegas, it was a little bit Jersey City, it was a little bit New York, it was a little bit LA. It was like a little bit all of these different, like, major cities in one. Mhm. Someone else was talking about a mall too. Interesting, yeah. They could have been the Valkyrie or the oh, ooh, okay. Is it like Backrooms? I don't know what that is. You guys, I'm lost. Is it collective dream realm? I believe I believe, yeah, I do believe it's a collective dream realm. It's got a mall and woods and amusement park and a beach. Interesting. I wish my dreams were a mall. It's always work and school. Oh, dang. What is my incarnation cross and numbers? Okay. So I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but my incarnation cross is the left cross of revolution. I haven't gotten to those yet. And then I think the first numbers are 9 and 49. I think it's 9 and 49. And what I remember, 49 is that like rebellious nature. What is an incarnation cross? I'm not there yet. That's why I'm not ready to start getting into the human design classes because you were dreaming about flying on a beach chair. on the 605 highway going north. Wow. Well, guys, the sun. You know what? Let me pull one more. We're here. I'm gonna go get. I got all my tarot cards in that. You're gonna love how it looks. Look at this. Ta-da. Yes, thank you. Okay. So we'll pull from this Nirvana deck, Modern Nirvana Oracle deck. Okay, one last message for us. This room is meant to be for you. Thanks. This is also my husband's meditation room. So in the morning, this is his room. And then later in the day, this is my room. So yeah, in the morning, this is like his space he meditates in here every morning and does his stuff and does his several hour morning routine. Oh, oh, too many cards came out. We have to put them back in. Too many came out. We want one. Are the small green mantises here on Earth connected to the mantis that you see? So, what I've heard many people say about this is that the mantises that are here on Earth are almost like a call, like a receiver of a phone for like spiritual mantises. So, like these mantises that are in like the ethers, they could be alien, they could be being, there could be many different things, whatever they are, is these are almost like receivers, like a phone receiver or a signal or something for them. So they are connected. Um, but like these are just like, like if you have a phone, it's connected to the line and then connected like through other things. So it's like they're kind of like the handheld part of the phone. Okay, so our card is authentic expression. Authentic expression. Oh, fail. Authentic expression. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in new, great, and wonderful worlds. Your whole body is a sacred instrument with a deep desire to express authenticity and transcend all limitations. In the divine cosmic orchestra of creation, in order to awaken the consciousness that is dormant, we must also learn how to awaken our most authentic expression of self so we can be in harmony with our highest visions. Today, you have pulled this card because you are spending too much time in your head and you have lost touch with your heart center. This card signals the need to clear the cobwebs in your consciousness, become more grounded, and meet this moment as your truest self, unified in heart and mind. This card comes as a reminder of the powerful practice to bring your awareness into the body by allowing your natural self to act freely, your limitless percent to act freely, your limitless potential will organically express into your reality and blessings of abundance will flow. It has this exercise. I'm not going to read the exercise to you, but I'll read you the last paragraph, which says, when you feel that essence of authentic mind, body, and spirit slipping away, this is a practice that you can return to time and time again, that you can continue to remember who you truly are. And sorry, I didn't share the practice. Mantra: I am grounded. I am aware. I am present. I embody essential awareness, and I am fully connected to my most authentic expression of self. Beautiful. Authentic expression. So then we had our other card, the sun. Be lit up, be the sun, shine bright, and then authentically express yourself. You guys, this was beautiful, lovely, wonderful. Thank you for hosting this live. Your energy, your message, and love is all I needed tonight. Thanks, Kate. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all you guys. Wow, your cards always aligned with the live titles. Coincidence? Never. Right. I know it's crazy. Like sometimes I also, like, doubt it because, like, sometimes I'll kinda, like, grab a card and I kinda feel like it was a little bit like, I was like, "Oh, damn, I should've," and then I'm like, "No." Like, in my Substack class recently, we got the Demons card, and I was like, "Oh, dang. Oh, dang. I got the we're trying to be high vibe here, and I got the Demons card." But when we read it, it was exactly everything that we were talking about, like, letting go of these old stories, letting go of what we believe we're bound by. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. Thank you so much, J.K. Ultra. You're my hero. Wow. Thanks, Gade. Mm. Thanks, Jen. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much. Warm hugs. Warm hugs to you guys too. Thank you. Thank you. I will appreciate you so much. Thank you for your time tonight. Enjoy your evening, everyone. Yeah. Thanks, guys. This was great. This was beautiful. You said you want to trust my analysis on the 3-eye atlas. You know, my analysis is I don't care. I don't care. It's not, it's another thing, you know? It's another thing. It's another thing that doesn't matter. Letting go of old stories is everything. It really is. It's another thing that doesn't matter. Um, okay. Anyway, guys, love you. Thanks. And see you guys next Tuesday. Oh, one thing. I'm going to be posting on YouTube. So click on them, please. Click on them and watch them. I am going to be reposting like little 5 to 15 minute clips from my old Tuesday night lives. So sometimes I get on a roll. Sometimes I get on a banger, but it's lost in this 2-hour video. So what I'm starting to do is go through these old lives and get little snippets out. So even if you already watched the original live, there's probably some little message for you. I do not have a podcast episode coming up. I'm starting to get back on the guests. Join my Substack. Yes, you are right. Thank you. Um, thank you. So see you guys all there. See you guys on the YouTube comments. See you on the Substack and see you next Tuesday.